If you like our content, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get alerts when we introduce new videos.
Welcome to the demonstration series for the Ruckus Analytics Cloud Service for Network Intelligence and Service Assurance. The videos in this series will describe the various views, services, and capabilities of the Ruckus Analytics platform. In this video, I'll describe the data presented in the Inventory APs Report dashboard. Let's get started. Here I am logged into Ruckus Analytics. You can access the Inventory APs Report dashboard by navigating to and expanding Report on the left side pane. Then click on the APs link. This will open the Inventory APs Report dashboard. The Inventory APs Report provides details on AP inventory, such as AP reboots, AP software versions, AP models, and AP alarms. Let's start at the top of the page. As with most reports, there's a time selection field which allows you to determine the time span of the data presented in the report. And next to that is the filter selection field that allows you to select which devices to include in the report. These fields are covered in detail in a separate presentation of this video series. Now let's look at the various tiles available in this report. At the top is the Overview tile. It provides a general overview of the entire network based on the selection of APs and date range filters. This overview displays the total APs, APs with alarms, APs with reboots, and total reboots. Next, the top APs by offline duration tile contains a chart and a table view displaying the top 10 APs in the network that have been disconnected for the longest duration. Selecting Table View shows the same data in a modified format, and clicking on the gear icon lets you add more columns and increase the number of rows to the table. The drop-down allows you to change the number of devices in the table from the top 10 up to the top 100, or allows you to include all APs. The AP Count Trend tile contains a graph showing the number of APs utilized in your network by comparing online APs against the total APs. This graph allows you to deviate from the overall report date range just for this tile by clicking on the drop-down here and selecting the desired range. The other drop-down allows you to specify the granularity of the data from each hour to each week. Within the graph, you can select or deselect the online or total APs, and passing your mouse over any plot point will display a pop-up box detailing the number of APs at that time interval. Next, we have the AP Status Trends tile. It displays the various statuses of APs in your network. When you pass your mouse over a status in the donut chart, the total number of APs with that status is displayed. On this and the remaining graphs, you can specify the granularity of this data from each 15 minutes to each week. And within the graph, you can select or deselect which statuses are plotted. Next, we have the top AP Models tile. It also contains a donut chart and a graph. Passing your mouse over the donut shows the total number of each AP model. Again, on the graph, you can specify the granularity of the data from each 15 minutes to each week. Within the graph, you can select or deselect which AP models are plotted, and clicking the Table View button displays the same data in a table format. The gear icon is here, allowing you to deselect columns, and the top 10 AP models are displayed by default, but that can be changed by selecting a different number from the drop-down. Next, we have the top AP Software Versions tile. Just like the previous tile, it contains a donut chart and a graph. The donut shows the total number of each software version. The graph allows adjustment of granularity and the selection or deselection of software versions. The table view displays the same data in a table format with the gear icon to modify columns, and there's a drop-down to change the number of software versions to list. Next, we have the top 10 AP Reboot Reasons tile. Just like the previous tiles, it contains a donut chart and a graph. The donut shows the total number of reboots for each reason, and the graph allows adjustment of granularity and selection or deselection of reboot reasons. Next, we have the top APs by Reboot Count tile. It contains a donut chart and a graph as well. The donut shows the total number of reboots for APs that rebooted most frequently. The graph allows adjustment of granularity and the selection or deselection of individual APs, and the table view displays the same data in a table format with the gear icon to modify columns. And again, there's a drop down to change the number of APs to list. Next, we have the top 10 AP alarm types tile. Again, a donut and a graph. Donuts showing the total number of each alarm type, and a graph allowing adjustment of granularity on the selection or deselection of alarms. Next is the AP configured in multiple systems tile. This graph shows you information about APs that have been associated with more than one controller. In the controller name column, all controllers that the AP has been associated with are listed, separated by commas. And the last known controller that the AP has been associated with is listed in the last controller name column. The gear icon is here to modify columns, and the drop-down changes the number of APs to list. Next up, we have the AP details for online-offline status tile. It displays its status details based on AP name, IP address, location, model name, controller name, last status, and last status change. Again, the gear icon is here to modify columns, and the drop-down changes the number of APs to list. The last tile is the AP details for other statuses graph. This graph displays the details for APs that are currently in a status other than online or offline. And one last time, you have the gear icon here to modify columns. And the drop-down changes the number of APs to list. As with most reports in Ruckus Analytics, this report can be exported to a comma-separated value CSV file or to a PDF. Selecting the CSV option contains all the raw data that populates each of the tables, graphs, and data points combined in a single zip file. The PDF export output looks very similar to the screen you are viewing now, with each of the current tiles, graphs, tables displayed in the same graphical format. This completes the presentation describing the Ruckus Analytics Inventory APs Report dashboard. I hope you found this information useful and hope you return for more of the presentations in this Ruckus Analytics series. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation.